Hello and welcome back to the 12th Man Pod with your host, Ty Bracey. Today we are going to be talking about, today's agenda is Super Cup, Bayern Munich. I'm recording this on Thursday evening, going out Friday morning so we can talk about Bayern because Bayern is happening today. We're going to cover the current transfer scenario going on at Aston Villa, and we can talk about things going on in the market, albeit not a lot going on. Before we get into today's episode, if you have been enjoying the content on the channel, I would really love if you could subscribe to the channel as we approach 2,000 subscribers in 2 weeks, which is mental. So thank you to everybody who's been sticking around, who's been watching, who's been commenting. Genuinely so grateful. I'm really enjoying myself doing this stuff. So as long as you guys enjoy it, I'll keep doing it. So yeah, today we have UEFA have confirmed Aston Villa's squad for the Super Cup. Now, plenty of names on the list. However, we're a little bit light in an area also known as midfield. So we registered 4 goalkeepers: Cash, Nedeljkovic, Konza, Lindelof, Torres, Mings, Maatsen, Bogard, Cisse. In the midfield, Kamara, McGinn, João Gomez, Barkley. Forwards, Watkins, Abraham, Buendia, Garnacho, Evan Gasson, and Alisson. Now, that does leave us a little bit light in the middle. Obviously, we don't 100% know what's going on with John McGinn as of yet on the back of his injury, but we're a little bit light in the middle of the field. For me, I think the 11 we see, and I'd love to know your guys' thoughts in the comments. Obviously, Manzambi's injured, so he's not in the squad for the Super Cup. So it's going to be, for me, it's going to be Emi in goal. Maatsen left back, Cash right back, Pau and Konza centre back. In your double pivot, I'm gonna assume, Kamara and João Gomez, obviously. On the left wing, you're gonna say Garnacho. I'd say Buendia in the 10. Then depending on whether McGinn's fit or not, whether he'll feature on the right, but if not, I'd probably assume Alisson, assuming he's fit too. If not, I don't really know who it's going to fall to. Is it going to be Gesson out on the wide, which it seems we seem to be trying to give him a go in the middle of the field in pre-season so far, and then Watkins up front. But the World Cup it came at a great time for my mental state, because being without football was rough off the back of finishing 4th, qualified for Champions League and winning the trophy. We needed that content. So, but the World Cup came and then the breaks along. So there's a lot of people we haven't seen feature in pre-season because they've been on a break after the World Cup, because they got far in the World Cup. Still to come back, we've got Ollie, Emi, Konza, 3 who you would argue are strong and the spine of the team. But the Super Cup is fast approaching. But by the time you're watching this, it's 5 days away. Absolutely buzzing for it, by the way. Another chance at a trophy. But yeah, it's not going to be an easy game. PSG obviously won the Champions League, absolutely flying, best team in the world for me at the minute. For the last 2 years, they've been outstanding, and they don't seem to be slowing down. They're doing some bits in the window too. So yeah, it's going to be a really tough game, and hopefully Watkins, Emi, Konza all come back nice and rested. And they're ready to go, ready to kickstart our season, because the season for me is 5 days away. But Bayern Munich tomorrow, a big game. It's going to be class. I'm looking forward to it. But again, it's just a pre-season game, isn't it? So that's a 1 o'clock kickoff. But it's a pre-season game, so it's just a fitness exercise, isn't it? But I don't know how much of Bayern's squad's back. But ultimately, regardless of what the result is, we shouldn't be looking at that and worrying at all. We definitely shouldn't do any comparisons to the Bayern game, but that's like me just telling you how to suck eggs. Obviously, it's just a pre-season game before the Super Cup on Wednesday. But ultimately, the window, Leon Bailey, still a little bit delayed, isn't it? There's going on to the transfer side of things, Leon Bailey. So watched Dan Bardell and Jacob Tanswell's episode yesterday And it looks to be like the figure for Leon Bailey is between 5 to 10 million. When Dan asked Jacob how much, he said, is it over 5 million? He said, yes. He said, is it over 10 million? He said, no comment. So it's going to be in and around, I would assume, that number. So then you can probably expect us to see us do some bits around the right side of the field. You know, the one in, one out saga can be quite frustrating, especially when our season starts so soon. It's probably something we could do without, is having the scenario where we need one in, one out. But I'm okay with that because we're offloading players, and ultimately there's players who are on high wages, who are aging, who are going out the squad. As much as Yuri Tillemans is going to be a massive miss, I think we're going to be absolutely fine in the middle of the field for the season with Kamara and João Gomez. And whether McGinn will feature in that double pivot at any point during the season, maybe, depending on how many legs we have on the right side of the field. But it's an exciting time. I love it when we sign a winger. A winger's always a position I get excited about because, you know, especially we're still, I don't know the links on Alan. I know there's been some links this evening that right winger called Luis Enrique has been offered to Palmeiras, which makes me think that Alan, who we've been linked with from there, again, who we don't know a fat lot about. However, if you ask me from the content I've watched of him, of his YouTube compilations, he is the next Lionel Messi. But yeah, whoever we get in, I'm confident. You know, there's no nerves. There's no nerves. We've done good business in the window so far. The window obviously hasn't started off well with Tillemans going. But it's someone who's aging. Tillemans has been playing pro football since he's been 15 years old. And he's about to enter year 30 of his life. So if there was a time to sell, now was that time to sell, to recoup some cash, because we're not in a position where we can let players go on a free. So, you know, I'm at peace with the business we're doing in the window so far. And I expect us to bring in someone on the right who's more than capable of playing on there, and will absolutely bring massive amounts to the squad. But let's talk about Ezri Konsa. So this is one that just doesn't seem to be going away, and there's been a few links with him as well. That Liverpool will come in the running, because I think Liverpool have only got one fit centre back at the minute. So I think Liverpool are a bit in the mud on the centre back side of things. But ultimately, if Konsa is going to leave, it's going to boil down to who's the highest bidder. We've seen throughout the window that Preparing a Bid FC they won't meet the evaluation, and it's quite simple for me. If you don't think he's worth the money, that it isn't necessarily how much the player's worth. You'll see people, Arsenal fans online, saying, "Oh, you know, he's not worth 50 million. He's not worth 60 million." That isn't the only factor in a player's price. Obviously, duration of contracts can be a contributing factor too. But ultimately, it's what's the cost that it's going to cost us to replace Ezri Konsa if he were to go. Are we going to get a defender of Ezri Konsa's level? If we sold him for 35 million, absolutely not. We're not going to get somebody on his level unless we got an absolute gem and a bargain, and it worked out. But ultimately, if you want proven Premier League, that comes at a premium. It's not something that's 35 million quid. So if Villa, I'm glad that Villa are dragging their heels in it. If Ezri wants to go and he's happy to have one last chapter and win some titles, some trophies with Arsenal or Liverpool, and push on, if that's what he wants to do, then that's what he wants to do. If not, sign the contract extension and spend the rest of your days at Villa and retire a hero. I'd also love that. But again, there's the business side of, is this probably in the next 12 months the last time we're going to be able to get a figure of that for Ezri Konsa? Absolutely. We're not going to get 50, 60 million for him in 12 months time, with a year less on his contract and a year older. It's just not going to happen. So I understand both sides of the Ezri Konsa argument. I don't want to see him leave. Please don't think that that's me saying I want to see him leave. But ultimately, we've done good business with who we've replaced so far. You know, there's been some moans online that we're light, and we are light. That the squad does look light, but the window is open until the 4th of September. We've still got another month. So I'm confident that we're going to get the right business done. It wouldn't surprise me if we see some deadline day madness. Maybe not actual deadline day, but if things are still slow coming towards the last couple of days in the window, I assume we'll assess our financial situation, see where we are, see if there's anyone else trying to lowball us to get a player on the cheap, and then we go from there and see what business we can do to add some depth to the squad, because we got a heavily congested fixture list this season. It's going to be difficult, but ultimately there's 9 teams in Europe this season, which is heavy. There's 9 teams. So nearly half of the league are playing European football. And Brighton's European campaign starts on the 20th of August. They've got the first leg on the 20th and then the second leg on the 27th in a Premier League game. So it's full steam ahead for them. But I think this season's going to be great. It's going to be a transition year. There's a lot of changes, and which is hard to see off the back of finishing 4th and winning a European trophy. And it's a sad time. It's a sad time to see those people who are a massive part of that season and a part of that journey move on. But I'm excited for this new chapter. I'm excited for the rebuild, as we're calling it. But it's going to be great. It's going to be great for us. The unknown, it's the unknown, isn't it, of not knowing what's coming, what's around the corner, who's going to leave, who people are coming in for, who else are we going to have taken away from us. I hope Ollie Watkins stays. But again, if you apply the same logic as you do with Ezri Konsa, it's is this the last opportunity to get a fee for Ollie Watkins? Yeah, it is. This is the last time we may get a decent figure for him. But again, same logic as Konsa. I'd be happy if he signed a new contract, got a little bumper deal, and spent the last few years with us of his playing career. He's been massive for us. And my issue with us if we lost Ollie Watkins is, and I know Ollie can be frustrating to watch at times, and there's no bigger critic of Ollie Watkins than himself, which I love about him. I love that that's exactly what he's about. But ultimately, what is the cost financially to replace somebody who contributes 20 goals a season, 20 plus goals a season? Like, don't get it wrong, he has his dry patches where things are a little bit rough and he's frustrating to watch. But he comes with 20 goal contributions a season. He's close to the 100 club for Premier League goals. And I'd like him to hit that milestone at Villa. And Ollie has a unique set of attributes as a striker. He works probably more than most strikers in the Premier League. Thinking off the top of my head, he is an absolute workhorse. And, you know, the physical work and the fitness side that he brings is absolutely massive. Going on to Brian Maggio, don't know how much he's going to feature this season. Obviously, he's not in the UEFA A or B list, which we'll get into that in another episode during next week. But it's we're a little bit light for the Super Cup, and we're a little bit light going into the season. But again, we've got a month to go, lots to look forward to. It's an exciting time to support Villa. There's a transition period going on. There's a rebuild. There's a lot of changes in the back room, a lot of changes on the pitch too. But all I know is that we're going to be absolutely fine with Unai Emery at the helm. There's absolutely, if you haven't seen my episode of why you don't need to worry about the rebuild, you should absolutely watch that. And I did some research on Unai Emery losing key figures back room and on the pitch. You know, if you've watched that episode already, then I'm just repeating myself. But for anyone who didn't, in 2009, 2010, Unai Emery, when he managed Valencia, lost David Villa and David Silva in the same window, who had 30 goal contributions each. And then in that year, their final year there, Unai Emery finished third. And then the following season, after losing those two, finished third again. So Unai Emery is used to transitions. He's used to backroom changes. There was changes in that year too with his coaching staff of when he had finished third again. He's used to these things. This isn't his first rodeo. And there's no man more I want to see lead us out there. And I really, really hope we can get trophy-wise to win trophies 2 years in a row would be ridiculous, would be crazy to even think about. But ultimately, if there's a man who can get us back-to-back trophies in different seasons, I think Unai Emery is a man. I think he's the it's difficult for me to say this because for the older generation who are watching this and have been alive longer than myself, their opinion of the greatest manager of all time would probably differ from mine. But Unai Emery is absolutely the best manager in my in my years on this planet. So we're in safe hands. It's going to be great. And ultimately, a cup run of some sort, whether it be European, obviously Champions League is going to be immensely hard. It's going to be ridiculous. But I wouldn't mind a good cup run in the FA Cup either. I wouldn't mind a trip to Wembley. Wembley is always an absolutely banging day out with your mates. And, you know, being on the pop, and especially if the weather's good, it's always a blessing. So, yeah, just wanted to come on, record a quick segment, really, talk a little bit about the Super Cup that I feel like we've blinked and it's here. 5 minutes ago, the World Cup was still going on and there was absolutely no movement in our transfer window. And then we had a mad week. I think it was 10 days. And then since then, all that's happened is Leon Bailey's going to Hull and then he's not and then he is. So it's been a bit up and down, hasn't it? So, but yeah, there isn't a massive lot going on in the transfer window wise, but a friendly to look forward to today when you guys are watching this. It's Friday. A friendly to look forward to today against Bayern Munich to get that football fix, and then onto the Super Cup. And then onto Mönchengladbach on Saturday. And then that's it. That's pre-season done. Pre-season is over and it's time for 38 games of Premier League football. And I'm pumped. I'm hyped. I'm excited. One thing that is going to be a little bit strange, and I'll finish up on this point, is Villa Park with free stands. It's going to be... I'm curious of how it's going to be with free stands. Not necessarily for noise purposes. It's just how much of that sound that comes from other areas of the pitch, specifically the Holt, that's where I sit. I sit in aisle 6. Where is that noise going to go? Is it going to amplify around the stadium as much as there's more open space? I don't know. I don't think it'll affect atmosphere. I don't know if it will sound as loud as it usually is, just because of having... I know the sides weren't completely, all the way blocked up and there was a gap in between. But I just don't know if that sound's going to travel through like it would before we started rebuilding the North Stand. So, yeah, very curious about that too, of how that's going to sound. But, yeah, excited to get back to the football. Not long now before we're back at Villa Park. I think it's 24 days, 23 days. If it's Friday today, 31st of August. Yeah, so 24 days, 24 days until Arsenal's our first home game against Arsenal, and obviously got Brighton. Speaking of Brighton, actually, I didn't realise at the time when I was talking about it, but Brighton's European games, Villa are the game that's smack bang in the middle of that. So you can look at that two ways. It's going to be, they will have already played a competitive game of football, they'll be warm, or ultimately, they might be a few tired legs with a first competitive game back, and then they have to face us. So, yeah, excited for what's ahead. Excited for Bayern Munich. Excited for the Super Cup. Excited for the season to start. But, yeah, as I said at the start of the video, thank you so much to everybody who's been listening and supporting me. Honestly, the love in the comments has been so overwhelming, and it makes me know that I've made the right choice in doing this, because I love talking about football. I love talking about Villa. I'm so passionate about it all. And I love having those conversations with you guys in the comments on Twitter. So if you're enjoying it here, as I said at the start, if you could subscribe, like the video, comment, join the conversation. Even if there's no questions, something you want to comment about, something I've said during the episode, I'll reply to you. Let's have a chat. Let's talk football, because ultimately you can never have too many friends to talk football about. So, yeah, thank you for joining me today to talk Super Cup and a little bit of transfer talk. And, yeah, I'll see you for another episode when Villa do some more business. Let's see what happens in the coming days. And, yeah, I'm sure we'll get an episode out before the Super Cup. So, from me, Ty, thanks for joining, guys, and I'll see you for another episode soon. Peace.